Well, hello and welcome back to SuperCoach Edge, and it is an action-packed SuperCoach Edge because it is live. We are going live at the moment on YouTube. For those people tuning in via audio podcast, you'll have absolutely no idea because you'll be listening to this, of course, after the fact. But, of course, welcome. And Liam, it was a welcome sight on the weekend after a couple of rounds worth of damage and carnage at that, with quite a few of the highly owned players smashing out huge, or as Donald Trump would say, huge scores, which included a Sheezel 160, Xerri 151, Daicos 147, Flanders 141, and a Zorko 138 among them. Heck, even Matt Roberts scored 161. Remember that bloke? He was back with a vengeance. For myself, it was nice to hit Sheezel's VC as 160, but it seemed like shooting fish in a barrel this week. So hopefully those of you out there were lucky also. And Liam, and I know that you struck gold also, and it probably gives us a little bit of confidence. Heading into round 21, of course, we have SuperCoach finals kicking off. So it is all happening. But Liam, first and foremost, great to have you back on deck. How are you feeling after being struck down by the dreaded general soreness, aka in SuperCoach terms, the sickness?
Yeah, good. General soreness, isn't that what happens when you But anyway, I'm not gonna go any further than that. What general soreness means in AFL.
Well,
but anyway,
technically, you were taking some sort of
that's it. That
substance to get over your illness.
Please. But anyway, let's not go there. No, I'm feeling much better. And the score, I didn't get Sheezel's 160 as my VC, but I did get Zorko's 138. But I was kicking myself because I had Xerri, who I just brought into my side. He's 151. I had him as my VC all week until the final hour, and then I went, I think I'm going to go for Zorko instead. I mean, it's only 13 points, so it's not the end of the world. But would have been nice. It's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
138 and you see 151 and you're like, oh, it feels so much bigger than 13 points. Like when I said 13 points, I was like, oh, do I really care that much?
Yeah. You always want more. I think we're just insatiable appetite for points. Yeah. It's virtually all it is, and it's just like more. I want more, like more power. It's like Thanos. You needed the Infinity Stones.
That's it. And surely this week it was like you couldn't not hit a decent VC score. Like it was harder to not hit a decent VC score than it was to get one.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know.
It was good. It was good.
It was. But anyway, before we do get stuck into things, as always, if you're not following us across our socials, you can find us on YouTube by searching SuperCoach Edge. And don't forget to subscribe so you are notified when our content does drop from week to week. On Twitter, you'll find us at @SuperCoach_Edge, David at DamoJ88, myself at Liam Evans _95, and on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, search SuperCoach Edge.
Very, very nice. Well, shall we get into how we both scored for round 20? And I know you've got a big smile on your face for good reason, Liam. You're trying to hide it. There's no use. There is no use, and I'm totally fine with it. And because I virtually had my SuperCoach Edge patented crystal ball out the early part of the season, but we'll get into that very, very shortly. But I ended up scoring a 2,457. Ranking-wise, again, similar to last week where I dropped 23 spots. This time I dropped 34 spots and I sit 3,081st overall. So I guess if anything, I'm consistent. But yeah, it would have been good to see a bit of a green arrow this time around, but not to be. Hopefully I can just crack the 3,000 this mark because I was hoping for top 1K, but I'll take the top 3K, I think, at this stage, given the way things are going. I feel as though you need to be consistently hitting this time of year, like 2,500 plus, in order to go up, because everyone's obviously got finalised teams, and you know those point of differences, the good ones, of course, that can score well, and we'll sort of catapult you up the rank. But for myself, I ended up regaining Gorn at the perfect time with his cover in Kruger out with concussion, of course, so can count myself lucky there at least. Although, having said that, it was a little bit of unluckiness because McKercher was rested. However, it was a bit of a bummer, but I mean, it also meant having to field Dowling, who did score well enough to as a bit of cover, and in fact, you can probably say that he read the SuperCoach Ed brief, Liam, because guess what he scored? Ding,
I
ding.
wonder what. Oh,
Good stuff, Dowling. What an absolute ripper. And of course, speaking of which as well, a bit of a segue. Again, we were tagged in a photo of Yo and Harley Reid, 6 and 9, side by side, again. And it was just bulk ding dings across Twitter. So apologies for those of you tuning in who it offends, but we can't do anything. If you're offended, those people offended probably can lump. I don't know if you've seen the post or the video. There are a religious couple in the US that walked out of Deadpool and Wolverine because he refers to himself as Marvel Jesus, and they were like, "This is blasphemy," and they walked out. So those are the sort of people I reckon that would probably be tuning out of our content because of the use of those two numbers. But yes, interesting.
why would you why are you just turning out to an R-rated movie? If
This is the intellect that we're dealing with, I think, of people.
Just that in general, I don't get why people turn up. Surely you knew that was it. There was going to be something somewhat offensive in that movie.
Exactly. No, and considering the first two movies are they almost operate to offend.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting. But anyway, back to SuperCoach, of course. Just a bit of a segue there because I saw the post today. I thought it was hilarious. But I am still clutching on for dear life, Liam, to my last trade and with my eyes firmly on cash leagues. No doubt, well, I'm hoping that it comes in handy, especially with Rankin also waiting to return next week. And I can see what's going to happen. I don't want to jinx myself, but knock on wood, just so I don't jinx myself. But with Rankin returning next week, I can see myself getting an injury. Because this time last year, when I used my last trade, I brought in Georgie Boy Hewitt, and Walshy went out. And I ended up having to field rookie scores. It almost seems as though when the SuperCoach guys are about to hand you back, what you've been banished for, they take something else away. So we'll see what happens, but fingers crossed.
When God opens a door, closes the door, he opens the window. It's nah, he just shuts the door too.
Yeah, slams it right in your face as you're about to walk through.
It's no.
Exactly right. Exactly right. But how did you go, Liam? How did you fare? Of course, no surprises again, but how'd you fare?
Yeah, I was pretty happy with my score, 2,566 for the week, which you'd see me climb the rankings up another 5,000 spots, 5,048 to be exact, to sit ranked 41,619th overall. So I think top 3K is out of my reach. I'm gonna say, but
You never know.
I don't know. I reckon if I can finish, I don't know. I just want to see how far up I can get. Just keep rising. I don't really have a plan. I've got 2 trades left though, up my sleeve. After I used, obviously my third last one on TDK out and I traded into Xerri, which worked out rather well. What else did I do? That was it. VC was Zorko. If he failed, who was I going? I think it was Dunks, potentially. Oh, no, they would have been playing the same game. Who was I going? Might have been Daicos. Daicos on point. Which, I mean, would have been for points if it was Daicos, but it is what it is. I'm pretty happy overall. I think lowest scores on field were Ryan, Rosie, Dowling as well. I had to use Dowling to cover for McKercher. But yeah, overall, happy enough. Hopefully McKercher's back this week. And we can move on from there. But I do, as I said, have those 2 trades up my sleeve. So I'm going to hold, I think, this week. Unless there's any craziness that happens.
Yep, exactly. Well, that's the ace up your sleeve, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully you can get a bit more luck. But, yeah, at least you got Zorko, and at least you score better than me, Liam. I mean, you've been beating me the past few weeks, so I'm on a downward trajectory. You've got a wet sail. You're coming home with that wettest of sail, and I am awfully jealous.
It feels like it's way too late, though. That's my issue.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like, where was this earlier in the season? I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be frustrating. Yeah.
But anyway,
well,
it is what it is.
Yes, exactly right. Well, before we get into our first segment, of course, let us roll through, of course, the comment section. We are live, of course, recording this. So we do have a few people watching us, virtually like studio audiences, Liam. Like, we're not quite as entertaining or funny as friends, but if there's canned laughter, forced laughter or something, yeah, you can do that. Bit of our Seinfeld, all that sort of stuff. I should have slid through the door like Kramer. That might have worked. But we, of course, have the first comment. No surprise. Adam, our number one ticket holder, who has said, making sure I got him before my sleeping tablets knocked me out. Cook as a dog, much like yourself, Liam, but keen to watch tomorrow. Keep up the great work, champion. So he has, I would say, been knocked out by those tablets. Again, general soreness, Liam. Same sort of thing. As you can see, sleeping tablets were the ones that managed. Exactly. Exactly right. We also have Global. He says, g'day, you bloody beautiful humans. Right back at you, Global. He said back-to-back top 1,000 weekly round scores with 2,605 this week. That's incredible, Global. And he's gone from 10K to 5K in 2 weeks. Look at you. Speaking of wet sails, gee whiz. My sail, this is how wet I can get my sail, is just licking my tongue and just lining the edge of the sail. That's literally all I've got, and losing speed. But he's just got a big hose out. And he's absolutely coming home with a wet sail. And he said Xerri is his starting pick of the year for sure. Starting pick, wow, that is a big get. Very nice by you, Global.
Oh yeah, that is huge.
Yeah, so he's kept him all year, where people have traded him at sort of this point of the year, and he's stuck fat.
If you started him, what was he? He's gone up 204K, so he was sort of 408K at the start of the year.
Yeah.
He's now 612. Like, massive rise. So absolute bargain if you could have got him then.
Absolutely. Well, with that, Lamb, shall we jump into... I might actually, whilst I'm cutting to this, can you just check your mic settings? Because my mic settings were off. Courtesy of StreamYard, of course. If you just click on settings down the bottom and then go to audio and just click on mic and make sure it's your whatever mic you use. But with that, I'll leave you with it, Lamb, and I will jump into the segment, of course. It is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, yes, it is good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, Liam, I must apologise as well, because I've checked my own mic settings, and it sounded as if I was connected to my toaster as opposed to my microphone. So I don't know how that sounded. Probably a little bit tinny, so apologies for those people tuning in. I have corrected it, and it is coming through my actual mic. So, I don't know. Test yours out, Liam.
Yeah, I think mine's now.
Oh,
Mine's
perfect. There, look at that. We'll get there. It's only round 20, but we finally got there with StreamYard. But this is what happens: teething issues, live records, all that sort of stuff. This is what you don't see behind the scenes. It's not that entertaining.
Natural flash. We just record. The reason the podcast is so good is it's actually our third go each week, because
exactly.
Record the second time someone's microphone's not working.
Yeah, don't realize until the end that someone's microphone is actually off, and you've just haven't been miming the whole time. It's just
it's just been on mute the whole time.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, the good, the bad, and the ugly, Lamb. Let's kick it off with Harry Sheezel, of course. Another good week by him, incredible week, because she's nuts. He went nuts yet again. Absolutely elite, scored a 160 and reaffirmed his SuperCoach eliteness by being ranked now as the number one best scoring defender overall. Incredible rise by the youngster, and I just love him. He's the sort of... He has to be in the Daicos realm now, heading into 2025, almost a starting pick, you'd think.
Yeah. I'd be starting him next year, 100%.
Do you reckon he's going to get mid-defensive eligibility next year, potentially? Because he's playing a bit more time through the middle, which would be quite nice.
Is he got it now?
I don't know the numbers, but I don't think he does. No, strangely enough.
Surely the next round he would... There's another round of DPP, isn't there?
I think it's done now.
Was it the last one? Yeah,
think.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, surely next year he gets it. I can't imagine he wouldn't.
yeah, because his CBAs have actually gone through the roof. They have been since round. When was the last round of DPP? Round 16, wasn't it? I think. So since then, he's gone 48%, 33%, 48%, and 52%. So he's getting up there. He's definitely getting up there. His average for the season overall is 28%, but in isolation, it's probably around about 45-ish, potentially, thereabouts, maybe a little bit lower percent, which isn't too bad, but might bode well for him. If he continues in the midfield for over the next month of the season, home away season, of course, it'd be incredible. But we'll see how we go.
Certainly. Now on to the bad, and it is Isaac Heaney. Consecutive games with this 82 score following on from a 72 as well. But given his consistency across the season, it is a bit of a rare sight for him to be scoring this poorly. And I think overall, you can't complain too much with how he's overperformed, I want to say.
Yep.
Over the season. Not overperformed, but, performed so well.
Exactly. Before we get into the ugly, we do have, of course, a few more comments coming through. We'll whack them up, of course, throughout. So continue sending those through. Carl Media, an absolute legend and funny bastard at that. He says, huge week ahead. Looking forward to Matty Rowell and Jordan Dawson combining for 20 points less than Errol Goulden saucy times. Matty Rowell actually hasn't found himself
had the highest score for the year, not the year, but for the last 6 months. 6 months, I reckon.
Yeah, exactly. So he's done well, and I think that was off the back of they were talking about playing him forward. 97. Yeah, Dimmer was talking about playing him forward a bit more to protect him, and he's actually had his highest score. Incredible.
His best score since round 10 was a 97.
Since round 10. I feel sorry for those people that don't have trades left, or have got one trade left that they're keeping because they know that an injury is going to strike at some point. But imagine if the injury strikes him, you don't want to hear anyone injured, but just the irony of it, like holding onto a trade in case of an injury and he gets injured, that would be salt in wound type stuff. But yeah, it's bad. But probably a good segue as well into, of course, the ugly. And this week it is Luke Ryan, the Seagull. He seems to have overindulged, I reckon, on chips earlier in the season when he was getting cheap kicks and SuperCoach scores week after week. Now he comes off a season low 75 and has only scored a ton in one of his past 7 games. So he's almost going the way of Matty Rowell. Seagull turning into, what's less than a seagull? A flightless bird, a dodo, potentially. Yeah, extinct as well. Are they extinct? Yeah, they are. Except for the one I've got in the backyard.
Oh, that's it. Except his name's blind. Yeah, he's just, I don't know, just absolutely flipped. I mean, it's the changing game plan from the Dockers, not kicking backwards to him at every single opportunity. But it just hurts now that you didn't start. If you started him again, I don't know whether you can complain too much because you had, the bulk of his very decent scores. But it is what it is now.
Exactly. It hurts. Like I was having a listen to the Dr. SuperCoach boys, and they made a really good point. They were like, there's so many players that people jumped on after their good start to the year, and they eclipsed 600k, and they bought them at 640, 650, 660 plus. And then using Flanders as an example, obviously he hasn't gone below a ton all season, and yet he actually dropped over the previous few weeks down from 640 to 600k. So it just shows that with the 3-round cycle, if you dip below your season average and you have a couple of those back to back, your price is going to dip. So it's almost like going forward into next year. I was thinking about it. I'm like, that's a really good point. If you've missed out on a player and they've eclipsed 600k, you might as well just wait because they're going to drop at some point in the season.
I mean, I don't know whether this is a good sign, but that's what I kind of this year have been trying to focus on, is not picking up players who are above 600k if I can avoid it. Just kind of looking at 600k as the threshold of they're expensive. So I think there is benefit to it because I think you can generally get players cheaper. Ideally, you want to jump on them obviously before they hit 600k. But if you can't, yeah, I'd be considering waiting.
Yep. No, exactly right. And that's the one thing I did with Sarong early in the season. Like, he burst out of the gates. People jumped on him, like, at the, I guess, detriment of their bank. And, like, any bank that they had going into the season, they kind of used on Sarong, put it on top of his head. And I just waited for him to drop, and all he needed was one poor game or lowish game. And he ended up dropping. And probably should have done the same thing with the Seagull. But it's so hard, isn't it? Like, you see guys scoring back to back to back to back, really good scores, and you're like, I have to get on them, because if I don't, I'm going to fall behind. It's just a matter of just trying to find guys that are cheaper, that are scoring maybe just around about that mark, or potentially have a high ceiling that you can jump on and hope you can ride them into the bloody sunset and they can match the play that you're kind of fading in a sense, in average. But
and
yeah,
I think
it's one of those key learnings.
Yeah, if you pull up that comment from Global, his latest one, he just says he went Sinclair for 530k over Ryan at 660k after their buy. That's exactly what we're talking about there. It's looking at players. So, like, and this is the thing, like Sinclair, I think sometimes you've got to think about it. At the time, Ryan was obviously scoring like, I don't know, 150 every second week.
Yeah.
And Sinclair wasn't going that well. I mean, there's a reason why he was priced at 530k. But you've got to look at it. Sometimes it's worth, if Sinclair might be scoring 120s, but you're saving 130k. So think about how you can use that across your side. You might be able to get another upgrade and then, have Matty Rowell and Jordan Dawson rather than just Errol Goulden scoring you absolutely nothing. But that's the logic sometimes. I think if you can improve multiple players by going for one lower price play that might not score at the peak of Ryan. Obviously, the seasons have diverged since then. But I think that's an important point to make.
Exactly right. Well, let's roll into a few more questions as well. Sorry, I'm just hearing a bit of feedback as well, Em. I think it's coming through your end. I can hear myself. So is the audio coming through your headphones? Can you hear that? It's definitely not coming through feedback back into your microphone, because I could hear me clearing my nose, for lack of a better word. So it's like, sorry, just distracted me when I heard that. See, apologies, ladies and gents. This is what happens. This is what you see behind the scenes. Can you hear me? Coming through loud and clear now? There we go. Perfect. Thank you. Because I was like, I don't know why I'm hearing myself, and I think it was kind of feedback looping and drowning you out, so I couldn't hear you as clear.
At one stage. Yeah.
There we go. Look at this. Look at this. And speaking of which, look at this. Carlos said, disappointed in the microphone blame game. You got to hand it to us, Carl. We've been producing, I think we're coming to like our 60th episode for the season, including pre-season content. So we're not running dry, but maybe we are in need of a bit of pig juice potentially to wet the whistle. Which, speaking of which, there's some of it right there. It's turned a bit off color. Apparently they're marketing it as Mountain Dew, but can't fool me. I can
a lot of that Mountain Dew.
Exactly. Speaking of which as well, I just want to point this out, of course, as I always do, segue, which is not even a segue, but the amount of sugar, 43%, that's almost half your daily intake of sugar in one drink. The amount of people in the US when I was there was like, I reckon 50 variants of Mountain Dew. And the amount of people that drink this shit, no matter there's so many people with diabetes over there, but I was working today at my old club, and my still current club, of course, Carlton Footy Club. There's my name tag there with my photo of me looking like an absolute I can't do it. Absolute numpty. And they had this in the fridge, and I was like, I thought it was passion fruit. Didn't see it was Mountain Dew. And the next minute, there we go, energized. And I was energized. I needed it. Absolutely needed it. As you can see there, so does the camera, because it's fuzzy as anything. Jeez, technology is losing it.
I used to work with the guy. And he, I'm not even joking, every day he would come in with a different soft drink, like a bottle of soft drink.
Really? Like full strength, or are we talking like
full strength, but just a different type. Like, it was wild. Like, he'd go to like those like shops that sell like American like cereals and like candy and all that. Like, and he'd come back and he'd be like, this is only for sale in like Switzerland or something. And then there was this one, he came in and it was like the most beautiful bottle I've ever seen in my life for a soft drink. and we looked at it, and it was like 200% of your daily intake for sugar in the one bottle, and we were like, that is disgusting. Like,
it's incredible. Like, just thinking of that, because it is sweet. But if I was to put like the equivalent amount of sugar in like a cup of tea, for example, that would just be like, that would like rot your teeth. But it's like, it must be like
all the acid and stuff.
It's like,
yeah.
It's like a drug. It's been cut with something. It virtually is. But back on point before, of course, we move into the Price is Right. And of course, before we do that, just calling out as well for those people tuning in. Of course, again, we are recording this live. Let us know if there's any guys you want us to talk about, because of course, this is the part of the season where trades are obviously running dry. A lot of us have 1, 2, 3 trades, if that. Some have 0. So if there are any guys you want us to chat about, of course, we will go through the injury lists as well. But let us know, of course, in the chat. So before we do that, there are some comments that have been filtered through. Mitch Shepherd says, "G'day, lads. 2,592 this week. Very nice score. Wondering if you boys have heard of Grundy having a week off soon. In brackets, go Boomers." Of course, the Olympics. Or he's just a massive fan of the Boomer generation, potentially, which each to their own. Of course, they got handed houses on a silver platter. Bought their house for $1. Woo, go Boomers. Yeah, don't worry about Gen Z and everyone else. So first off, Grundy. Yes, I did hear. I think it was McVeigh, assistant coach at Sydney, was saying that they were thinking they might give him a week off. It hasn't stipulated as to when, but if you are an owner of Grundy, awfully worrying signs. So I don't know. Just hopefully you do have a Freddie Krueger or someone at R3, or you've got that R3 DPP eligibility, like a Livingston. You can swing like Jackson in. There's a bit of cover. So have heard that, and yes, I'd be a little bit worried. So moving on to Global, you said I went Sinclair for 530k over. Oh yes, we said that over Ryan at 660. So that was a very nice get by you. Carl Meany says fine line with 600k plus performers. If that reversion to the mean comes soon enough, in brackets Green and Rail, holding off works. If they keep on overperforming until late in the season, like a Heaney or a Ryan. So I reckon up until a point, but it's really a massive guess as to when they're going to drop off. And I think if we look at Ryan, that's come off the back of a switching game plan. Heaney's probably just he's run out of a bit of juice, a bit of gas, and probably the downturn in performance by Sydney.
In general. Yeah.
Green and Rouse out of the box. I have no idea what's going on with him.
I think it's, again, a slight change in their game plan. I think they're playing it a bit more quickly, the Suns, compared to what they were earlier. And I think it doesn't suit him because he's not quick. So it's less kind of possession heavy for him. Greens, I think we're both going to say the same thing about Tom Green. And it's just, I think
disposal efficiency is not the best.
That's it. Yeah, I think it's what we're going to have to expect from him. He's going to have this is not, it's going to be what happens long term with him, I think.
Yeah. A lot of his work is done like contested possessions, all that sort of stuff. But if he was cleaner with the footy, he could be one of the more consistent high ceiling performers that we've seen. But Global says buy low, sell high. Carl says holding off kills you, and in the end you bite the bullet. Grab them post buy, and they nosedive. Yeah, I think the guys. Of course, it was Supercoach Pig and Pistol. I think it was on the recent episode, and they were talking about jumping on Ryan as opposed to Stewart. I think it was, and Stewart's like skyrocketed, and Stewart, despite having played one less game than Ryan, is actually ahead of him now in terms of, I think it's average or overall points, which is just absolutely incredible and just highlights that difference in, form, I guess. It's crazy. And I got rid of Stewart on his bye. Since then, he's been incredible. And again, change in role for Stewart, played through the middle more, doesn't really track to tag because he shifted from half back. So I'm kicking myself because I traded him to Houston, even though I was weary of Houston. And I thought it may come back to bite me. I was swindled by that massive score that he scored first up, that 170 odd. Hasn't been decent at all, and I think Stewart's overtaken him since. So it's just it's a frustrating game in SuperCoach because these I guess the change in fortunes for certain players off the back of role changes, you can't predict it until you've actually seen it.
And that's it. It could be after you trade him in. Yeah, like if you trade him, well, that's it. But if you trade him in, like you then hurt by, like, you know what I mean? Trade him in, he's still got that role, and then 2 weeks later it changes. Like you're worse off because you've copped none of the good scores yet, or not many of the good scores compared to someone that might have started them or got on them early. And that's the point. I think it's a little bit of, you have to jump on players early if you can, as you're saying here, buy low and sell high. There are exceptions, of course, but yeah, I think we need to, as you say here, buy low, sell high, never bad. But there are sometimes exceptions for Ubers in the lines, like a Flanders, Heaney till recently. Just need to bite the bullet on those ones, given the shallow forward depth. And I agree with that. I think this is I think it depends on the position, and I think it depends on the players that are available and what they're averaging. Because as I said, if you look at a player like Sinclair versus Ryan, 130k is a massive difference in price. And I mean, I don't know, looking at their recent form, I'm assuming that it's going to be not good in, Sinclair's averaging in his 5-round average 116 and Ryan is averaging 97.4. So like, that's one of the things you have to consider. But even then, even if Ryan was continuing at a higher rate, if you could get someone for 130k cheaper that might only be giving up, 10 points, that's 130k that you can spend upgrading somewhere else. And I think that's the positive, is that you could be getting 2 players that overall are scoring better than what you could have had.
Well, yeah, very good point. Exactly right. Like if I had the cash, I would literally execute this trade, and probably had more than one trade in going Ryan to Stewart. Just
the resurgence of Stewart's been massive. It's weird again.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. With that, let's probably jump into the next segment, and we can chat about this in a bit more detail, because we're kind of, I guess, edging ourselves and our viewers and listeners towards the trade chat. I'm sure that'll tickle the fancy of quite a few people. The fact that we've mentioned edging, namely SuperCoach Pro, of course, the other content creator that's an absolute legend. Brad always talks about us with regards to edging. So let us edge the viewers and listeners no more, Liam. Let us usher it in. It is The Price is Right.
Show me the money.
The price is wrong, bitch.
Well, classic. Edge no more. We are here. So I'm just going to pull it off. My God. I'm going to pull it up on another screen, my Lord. The injury list, let me get it up here. And I've done it again. Another double entendre. Let me get it up. So we'll go through some of the updates here. Jordan Dawson, he's listed as a test for concussion. Says he's progressed through concussion protocols and needs to get through full contact training on Wednesday to push for a return against the Cats on Saturday. So no, I guess, definitive return for him as yet. For Brisbane,
but doesn't sound really just on that one. Doesn't sound negative. Yeah. Like, I don't think I'm concerned if I'm a Dawson owner.
No, I think it's just a generally type. They're trying to put him through his paces, make sure he's all good to go. Brisbane, there's no real, I guess, SuperCoach relevant players there. For Carlton, we all know about TDK being ruled out. Yeah. They've had here 4 to 6 weeks, so that's him done. There is a Ratio Fantasia for those of you of that persuasion, which will be no one. Moving on, Zach Williams, if anyone has held him, but you definitely should have traded him. Hamstring, another 1 to 2 weeks. For the Pies, Freddie Kruger is listed as a test off the back of his concussion. Joe Richards is listed as a test off his illness that he had. How funny was it was like a late in and then a late out. Not funny for those people that, I think there was a few people on Twitter that hit us up off the back of our tweet alerting people to the fact that he was coming in to replace Jordan De Goey. Someone said, "Oh my God, I've traded Joe Richards in order to avoid a 0." As it turned out for them, it worked out well because Joe Richards again was a late out. And then there were other people celebrating that Joe Richards was going to be a late in. They're like, yes, not going to cop a donut. Of course, he was taken out of the team. So, McRae, you're just playing with people's emotions. How dare you? For the Dons, Zach Reed, they finally put a timeline
been
on
TBC for like the last 6 months, I swear.
Yeah, zillion years. Out for 7 weeks, so that's good to see. Now, Jordan Ridley has been ruled out for 3 weeks. Initially, they came out and they said, it's going to be 1 week. At least I think that was through the media, maybe Mitch Cleary or Tom Morris, one of those. But now, officially 3 weeks. So that is a trade, unfortunately. Of course, there's only 4 weeks to go.
Yep.
For Freo, Nat Fyfe, suspension, round 22. What happened to him?
He did something. I can't remember. I think I saw it.
To be honest, I didn't even realize he was still playing AFL.
It is.
He's been that around.
I'm checking Twitter because he was what are you calling it? Challenging it.
Oh, okay. Yep, I see.
He struck Jai Kelly. His appeal has failed. He'll miss next week's game.
Oh, there you go.
So it's just the 1 week for
anyone,
him.
Yep.
If you still got him,
anyone?
I don't know. I don't even know what you should do.
If you still got him, you're stuck with him. Just as punishment for having him in your team. Much like Galore, of course, who tore us up on the weekend. Every goal that he kicked against my mob Carlton, I was seething. I'm like, this bloke is not an AFL footballer. I've been saying it for how long, Liam?
All I could think was Archie Galea's back. While I was watching that game.
Back.
Seriously.
He's back in Carlton, gone. Moving on to Gold Coast, Tookie Miller is listed as 1 to 2 weeks for those people that have held. For the Giants, Canelio, 1 to 2 weeks. Josh Kelly, 1 to 2 weeks. For the Hawks, nope. For the D's, Christian Salem, if anyone has him, but probably should have traded him, 1 to 2 weeks. That's it. Tholstrup is a test for anyone that has him as a rookie on the bench. North Melbourne, Charlie Conman is listed as a test for his groin.
Yeah.
Zach Fisher, listed as a test for his foot. Must mention as well, and I did talk about it as well, on the, of course, my other channel, the Blue Baggers Edge channel, of course, the new, SuperCoach, YouTube channel that I've started up. Mentioned with Janeth, of course, the legend in the SuperCoach community as well, fellow bagger. And I was like, Fisher, it looked like he shat his Dax. 100%. The way that he was hobbling around, and I was like, surely he's injured. And of course, he was out, and now they've listed it as a foot. So, okay, I apologize, Fish. You didn't shit your Dax. It was just your foot. But he was running like stiff-legged. Like, mate, just go and take a shit. What are you doing? But he's listed as a test. McKercher also as a test. But it says here the Kangas are confident McKercher will return this weekend. While Fisher and Ford will also need to pass fitness tests to play. Richmond, no, there's no one there. Apologies. Jeez, they got a long injury list.
The way you just said there's no one there, and I'm like, you're still scrolling.
You're still scrolling. It's like literally a scroll that I'm unfurling. There is the likes of Taranto, who's got a back injury test. Nankerva, should mention, concussion test. Standard stuff. The Saints, now Philippou is listed as a test for his hip. He's in contention to return this weekend, they've said, from a hip injury ahead of schedule. So for the likes of Abs Magic and the like of the Squadfather, you'll be happy with that. For the Swans, nope. West Coast, McGovern listed as a test for his ribs. Sorry, I was about to scroll through again, but thought better of it. They haven't actually mentioned him here in the write-up, which is interesting. But, yeah, I think they'll just have to put him through a fitness test, which he failed last week. So hopefully he can. For those people like Abs Magic again and others that still own him. So, of course, we are padding this segment, The Price is Right. Normally we talk about trades and everything. We have been padding because we've been waiting for people to send through their questions or, players that you want us to discuss, really, in terms of trade-in candidates. So, let's have a look at the chat. Global has said, I reckon the grass man has an injury. Of course, referring to the once referred to goat, who is now a piece of cattle, a cow, aka Raoul. So Skits Fitz has said Hardwick in brackets. Global says no, Raoul. Skits Fitz, Raoul on the gunja? Because he's the grass man. Very good by you, Skits. Like that. And Global says nah, that he eats the stadium grass before every game. Plus he smokes a bit of a doob as well, Globe, that you haven't mentioned.
Haven't we seen that?
And what's that?
Don't we see that on the start of each
On the broadcast?
Yeah.
He's got a massive spliff, roll, massive. Not just a tiny little thing, standard size. He's got a massive spliff because you have to be smoking to that extent to be playing like he is.
Did you see Snoop Dogg carrying the Olympic torch?
No.
Oh, look it up. You've got to look it up. Just it'll make sense.
I'll see if I can bring it up on you. Is it on YouTube?
I
Or
assume
Twitter?
so. I think I saw a picture. I saw a picture of it.
Okay, when we're rolling through something in a
I'll
moment,
see if I can find it.
you're
I'll send it to you.
taking the rate. Oh, thank you. Carl, you've said traded Stewart out too. Exact same thinking. He benefited from the shift to the middle and the ability to avoid the attention, at least around the restarts, etc. Absolute boiled lollies to chockies. Yep. Even though I don't mind boiled lollies, I must admit, I'm quite a sweet tooth as opposed to chocolate. Yeah. But yeah, in this case, I would love a bit of chocolate Stewart. That's for sure. Chocolate rain. Remember that bloke? Remember Chocolate Rain? I don't know if you remember that. It was the early days of the internet. There was this bloke that was singing Chocolate Rain. I'll see if I can bring it up on my phone. Jeez, look at this. We're going off on tangents left, right, and centre. Now we're going live. Jeez, everyone's subjected to this. Looking through the chat. And of course we have Jack Blucher, I think it is. Blucher, I think you pronounce it. Apologies if I've butchered that. Of course, the man from Norway, from memory. He says, howdy, let's get rowdy, legend. And of course we have, we have summoned, speak the devil's name and he shall appear. It is the only Supercoach Pro, of course, Brad. G'day, lads. Looking forward to Sunday evening. He has lined up, of course, Liam, if you're free, feel free to jump on as well. But he hit us up and said if you're free to jump on his live, he would be absolutely keen for us to edge him, as he says. Of course, he's about to type that as his next message coming through. Skit Fitz, referring to Raoul here, he says, must be getting sick from all the herbicides and weed killers sprayed on the grass. Oh, very good. Very, very good. Skits Fitz says, Toady. Toady's referring to Supercoach Pro there. Supercoach Pro, absolutely both if you're keen. Jack says, oh God, Brad is in the house. I'm slowly erected. I love this slowly, just ever so slowly. I don't know. Again, I've got to set this up properly because there's all these things popping into my mind. This is what happens. Just a bit of a peek behind the curtain. I'm the wizard in The Wizard of Oz. This is what happens in my mind. But referring to slowly erected reminds me of the scene from Me, Myself and Irene with Jim Carrey. And he's got the alter ego that he snaps into. And he's in the passenger seat with Renee Zellweger. And he starts to get an erection, and you can see the lining in his pants that goes the full length of his thigh. That's definitely what I think when I think of that, Jack. Not of you specifically, but Supercoach Pro getting re-edged right now. Matt Rowell on the wrong grass. Should we blame you, Brad?
Have a look at your Facebook messages, Damon. I just sent you a picture of Snoop Dogg with the
very good. He looks like, and what he should have done. Hold on, I'll load it into StreamYard here. Apologies for those people tuning into the audio podcast.
This is not helpful.
After the fact, we do implore you to jump onto YouTube and check this out with us, or just simply go to Google, type in Snoop Dogg Olympic torch. And he looks like he's torched himself. He is 100%. He's taken a massive. He should have held it up in front of his mouth, Let me just get it up. Apologies. Where is it? Add overlay. Where is it gone? Here it is. So absolutely hilarious because he looks absolutely blazed himself. And I love the peace sign that he's got. So it should pop up. Here we go. You can see it here. Have a look at him. Have a look at him. That's a good call by you, Liam. Speaking of on the wrong grass, I think he's taken the wrong bloody doob. And I love how it's shaped like that as well. Because
I know, that's what I mean. Like, look at the way it's shaped. Like, and they chose him of all people.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That is so good. That is so good. I had no idea. Like, I only saw Rafael Nadal carrying the torch. I hadn't seen who else was carrying the torch. So that is so good. Why have they chosen him, by the way?
So apparently he, I found this out from Jacqueline, my wife. Apparently he commentates on Olympic sports.
No way.
Except for, as she told me, except for equestrian, because he's scared of horses, apparently. So he gets Martha Stewart to commentate on the equestrian.
Is that a piss take?
I don't know. I'm just trusting her. She doesn't normally come up with stuff that's elaborate.
That is a classic gag. If she came up with that is a classic gag from your better half there. Oh, very, very good.
I've just said
scared of horses.
Snoop Dogg scared of horses, and it's coming up.
But you're not actually near the horses. You're not riding the horses. So, what he won't? What you reckon? He be just that would be like he would have to commentate with other people, and they'd be like throwing to Snoop. All right, Snoop, what are your thoughts on the equestrian and the horses here? And he'd just be like, like shivering in a ball of fear. Maybe he had a really bad trip, smoking a spliff, and he saw a horse, and he's just seen it as a demon or something, and completely lost it. Skits Fitz has said 100% he sparked up with the torch. 100%. Even if he had actual spliff, use the torch. That would have been good. Use the torch to light his spliff. Classic. We've gone on to a massive tangent here, but that's part of the season that we're currently in. Jack has said, "Fuck, I'm so sick of owning Real. Definitely take 97 for McKercher on the weekend though." Well, hopefully. Oh, wait. Sorry. Yeah, he's 97 for McKercher. Well, it came at the right time. Absolutely. Global. Puff, puff, give. Jack. Brad is pretty good looking rooster, so I can't blame you, lads. Caleb Daniel 2.0 after Shorty's goal kicking comp. Oh, did you participate with that? Oh, that's right, because you're down Geelong way, Brad. So I've got to check that out. But anyway, let us get into some actual chat about any trade options. So let's have a look at, I guess, what the popular trading options are. So let me just go into the back end here and we'll whack it up on screen. And of course, for those people tuning in, feel free to flick through any guys you want to recommend for trading options as well. We spoke about Tom Stewart as definitely as one. We'll just do this according to the overall coach's choice. So the ownership change based on that. Dylan Moore is the most traded in at 0.8%. Really juicy price point as well. 504.6.
Yeah.
What do you reckon about him?
I mean, he's up and down. That's my biggest concern. But at 504k, I don't mind it. I think look at his last 5 weeks, and that's what you're going to get. You're going to get a 71. You're going to get a max of 136, and anything in between.
Yeah, and not too bad, I guess. I
think overall it's not bad. Looking back, his lowest score in the since round 9 or round 10 was a 66.
Yeah,
and then he's had 2 scores in the 70s, a score in the 80s, a score in the 90s, and then 3 scores in the hundreds.
Yeah. So 136, 103, 71, 106, and 95. Not too bad, but it probably just shows that he doesn't really have a scoring ceiling as such. Probably his floor's getting up there. That's probably the one thing he has going for him, but again, still has that, as you say, the bit of deviation in his scoring. So I think you've got the hiccups, Liam, so I'll jump in here.
Thank you.
Next up, we have, now I love this bloke. I wish I had the coin and the traits to do it. Adam Treloar, 611.7k. He's been traded in by 0.7% thus far. Of course, it's still only Tuesday, so that will go up. Hence the reason why they aren't round numbers. So he has gone in his past three, Treloar, 129, 148, and 146. But he is someone that has really, really had a big ceiling and a big floor as well, because apart from the 58 that he scored against North Melbourne, I think he got tagged that game by Will Phillips. His lowest score was 91. Then he's had 99, 94, another 94. Every other score's been a ton or better. He's looked really good. Only in 4.3% of teams. So a nice little pot as well. I was actually surprised, speaking of which, why he didn't get tagged on the weekend by James Jordan, because they tagged him in their previous encounter early in the season. So I didn't quite understand that.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yes, but he's definitely an option. There's obviously Tom Stewart we spoke of.
Tom Stewart I like.
2.4k. He's looked really good.
Good price.
As you can see here, since his buy, since round 14. 107, 97, 115, 105, 121, and a 139. So he started to flush a bit of a better ceiling, but at least elevated his floor.
And his floor is good, yeah.
So he's really good. He's break-even is 64 as well, so not a bad way to end the season. He's got Adelaide, Freo, St Kilda, and West Coast, so not too bad. Charlie Curnow, 0.6%. He's gone up 37.8k off the back of a couple of nice back-to-back games, 106, 119, and before that, those two scores, 89. So he only really had those two down games, 54 and 33 against Richmond and the Giants. I know in isolation people are like, hate it, but he's come good.
I think I just hate, full disclosure, I own him. I just bloody hate having a key forward. 431, is he 431k?
He is, yes.
Closely. Yeah, it's a good price.
431.5.
I think it makes sense. Especially if you can have him as an F6, F7, where you can loop him on. I assume they play Saturday night this week, so it's not super early. But I'm trying to have a look at the rest of your fixture.
And a little bit of intel here. I won't tell you who the source is, but just a coincidence. I was working at the club today. But the last game of the round against St Kilda may be a Saturday game as well. So I don't know if you'll be able to potentially loop him, or at least have him on the bench, because it could be an early game.
It looks like all the rest of the games, it's like Saturday night this week. 22 is Sunday first game. 23 is the last game, 4:40 in West Coast. And then round 24, obviously we don't know just yet.
But maybe a Saturday.
So it's sort of, I think it's his sort of, you can't loop him. You're kind of having to take the other score first, most likely, and then hope that, he's going to score better. You can't screen his score is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you can't put the emergency on him on the bench, is what you're saying?
Yes.
To screen his score, yep.
That is the word.
Very good, very good. Well, don't mind Charlie. Of course, if you can loop. This bloke here, outside of Treloar,
I like it.
Lockie Whitfield, 597.6k. He's now 78.6k above his starting price. And look at his score since round 13 onwards. 108, 134, 105, 117, 107, 113, 137, and 133. He's probably, in terms of, I guess, consistency, up there with a Sheezel. Just probably not quite the ceiling of consistently of Sheezel, but really good. Ton or better. He's one of the more consistent type players, so don't mind him in defence if you're looking for a defender. People are bringing Kynan Brown, of course, as a bit of a loophole option, no doubt. surprising that he didn't actually get a call-up off the back of his, 24,
Yeah.
25 tackles, might have been more. Incredible. Dane Zorko, they're leaving it late. They probably went with the strategy that I was trying to adopt at the start of the year, why Zorko was going to be my last upgrade because I was worried about his injury history. But he's being brought in by 0.5% of teams. Matt Roberts is one who we spoke of at the start of the episode because he scored that 161. But he's actually back on the agenda now. Like, his past 3 scores, 95, 114, and a 161. Big stat games as well. On the weekend, he had 36 disposals, 8 marks, 3 tackles, and kicked a goal. Prior to that, he had 23 disposals, 8 marks, 4 tackles. Even prior to that, 22 disposals, 9 marks. So I think he's back to that sort of distributor type role off half-back by the looks of it. Very nice. And then there's guys like James Peatling, potentially. He looks to be scoring well when he's got the role and he's got opportunity. Again, he scored 133 on the weekend. 88 minutes. Prior to that, he scored a 92 minutes. And then he's been a sub in so many games. 97 minutes, back in round 13, 111. Round 8 against Sydney, 104 minutes, scored a 116. So it shows that, he's actually able to score quite well when he's given the opportunity. Would you be keen as a bit of a, if you were struggling for cash, or he's a forward mid as well?
Yeah, if you were really struggling for cash, I think again I'd want to see him forward. Sorry, as your F7, M9, looping him on or using him as cover. I just don't trust him enough.
Yeah, true. It wouldn't have him on field.
No,
but it's like potentially as a bit of a
potential cover
ace
or
up the sleeve.
Potential loop. I mean, what's his price? $290. How much is Philippou?
Yes. So Philippou.
Obviously, he's still not confirmed as an in, but if he is in, I would probably go
266.4.
Yeah, I prefer that. It's going to save you cash.
Good. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. 266. So yeah, he's 24k or thereabouts cheaper. Quite nice. In terms of rookies, there is Jack Bytel. Again, don't know if you can trust him to keep his spot. Played 4 games now, so not necessarily on the bubble, but scored a 66 on the weekend from 105 minutes. So not the best, but he's priced at 140.2k. So if you do need to make a bit of a downgrade and try and get someone in that may play games, maybe. Bailey Laurie, I think, was he the sub? No, he wasn't. Scored 75. He's 136.8. That's probably it, I think, in terms of, because now we're getting the lower parts of trading options. Let's have a look at the trade outs. And topping the list, of course, is Jordan Ridley. Of course, for those people tuning in late to the live, of course, if you are tuning in via the audio podcast on repeat, you'll have heard us say this earlier. But catering to those people live, Jordan Ridley is out for 3 weeks, if you haven't seen the news.
Yep.
So if you've got him, trade him out. Next, we have Billy Dowling. He's been traded out by 1.4% of teams, which is interesting.
I'd imagine
presumably
that's
as a bit of a stepping stone.
an upgrade. Yeah, you're getting someone better, potentially a Philippou, a Peatling, or a genuine upgrade.
Yep, good point. Mana's probably the same thing as well. He's the third most traded out, 339.5k. Lefish, even though he's listed as a test for his foot, there's no guarantee that he comes back because, of course, McKercher will come back before him, you would imagine. Sexton, another one. Charlie Comben, unsure of his availability. I think he hurt his hip, I think it was. Freddie Kruger, and there's a few guys as well. Chad Warner, he's a guy that I think sucked a fair few people in, and he's fallen off a cliff again. Apart from those nice scores at the midway point of the year, where he scored a 135, 199, 172, and 144. At that point in the season, his average is 113.2. Since then, has dropped down to 101.5. So, not ideal. but that's the risk you take. I think that's about it, virtually. Like, there are other names there which we could mention, but yeah, it's that time of year, as we said, where it just comes down to your team structure, number of trades you got left, and everything else. So there's no use of pinpointing specific players. Let's head back to the chat, and geez, it's been going off. Global says puff puff give, of course, referencing the one and only Snoop Dogg carrying the torch. Skits Fitz has broken out into song. You gotta pass the dutchie to the left hand side. Very good. Supercoach Pro, cheers, Jack. Shaw did kick a few goals against. Who was he playing? Shorty. In his little video, goal kicking video. Skits Fitz doubts it and says, bullshit, you did, Brad. Jack Blucher, you have to watch that. It's the funniest video on YouTube lately. I might bring it up maybe in the back end, potentially as a bit of a treat towards the back end of the episode. Skits Fitz, dribbles on the ground, missing left, right, and centre. Start calling him Mackay. Hey, come on. He's actually been kicking goals. He's actually been good this year. It was Charlie that was missing them. He's since come good as well. Riddles out will hurt, says Global. Yep. Carl Meany, live and learn. Snoop sees a horse and Crip walks the other way. What? Jack, going back to Richmond's injury list, I'm one of the dickheads that picked Nank over Xerri when Gorm was out. Did anyone hear if he's coming back after concussion? Now, Liam, I almost scrolled past it, didn't I?
Yeah. No, it was a test. He was a test.
Yeah.
Classifies as a test because, Richmond has no interest. But yeah, he was a test. He
should be back, surely.
And should be back, surely. Yeah, I can't imagine he's not.
He also says, Trelaw, my favourite player in the comp, not only because he's a pod, but the nicest guy on and off field. Met him when I was 16, the old man manages him. Yeah, by the way, so Jack, I found out on the live stream, for those people that missed it, the wife and I, of course, that I always reference as the old wife and I, she's actually the younger wife and I, we did a live on my new channel, Blue Baggers Edge, and she jumped on for a bit of a chat. It was about a 2-hour stream, so we're channeling our old days back when we met each other at RMIT radio, and used to do a radio show together, AFL based, and yeah, it was quite fun. But yeah, Jack mentioned then that his old man is manager of Michael Voss and Hinkley, I think you said, Jack, if memory serves. So there you go. Carl, this is the tweet from Richmond. Carl Meany on Nank. Nank is ticking the boxes through the concussion protocols. He's in a good space. He'll be back in. There you go. Definitive.
Good to hear.
Where else have we got here? Supercoach Pro. I was hungover and running off 3 hours sleep. Skits also played as a defence, was never a forward, hence the dribble kicks. Okay. Barbecue's Trelaw is a special. Got one speed, go. Skits says, you did come, they're just having a bit of a conversation amongst themselves. You did come good towards the last round. Must have sobered up, Supercoach Pro. Yeah, came good late to Supercoach Pro. Jeez, just leave you boys to it. Just go on back and forth. I was so city the rest of the day, never going to do anything like that hungover again. Jack says, Supercoach related, would love to trade Rail, have 0 trades, of course, as the flog I am. Hey, don't be down on yourself, Jack. Had the opportunity to trade, but when Fisher was out, traded him to Rankin. Then after Rankin out, I went to Moore. Now 0 left. Well, at least you got Moore who's playing. Whereas I'm the idiot that held on to Rankin.
And at least Rail's still playing, getting you some form of score.
Yeah, exactly right. Slim, I just made it. Welcome, great man. Sorry, was busy doing my weekly inspirational write up for Discord. Hello, boys. Damo, have you been hanging with the Zohan again? I don't know what he means. Are you talking about me having done my hair and I look like semi respectable? I was at a shoot at my beloved Carlton Footy Club. There is my That's funny because when I had to sign in and they printed out this little label, it wouldn't work, and I didn't realise that I took the photo and it said smile, and I saw it last second, and I attempted to smile and I had like a crooked face. And it didn't print anything out. It was like error. And I said to the woman behind the desk, I was like, oh, apologies, didn't work. And she's like, did you smile? And I was like, no. I was like, is that the issue? And she's like, yeah, maybe it was. And she's like, ha, maybe it wasn't. But anyway, I ended up doing some filming at Carlton, so hence the reason why I had to look semi-respectable and do my hair and have a collared shirt. Jack says, "Did you speak with Vossi?" I did speak. I didn't speak to him about the game plan or anything else because he was on a he was on a tight timeline. Of course, the boys trained off-site today because the oval wasn't in pristine condition. So thankful for that. No one got injured because there was a lot of fog, a lot of dew this morning. Did you notice that, Liam?
It was
Whole
very
heap of
foggy.
fog.
Very foggy.
It's crazy. But no, I didn't specifically. It was funny though because when I was miking him up, and of course the person that was interviewing him wasn't me. I was filming it, of course. The microphone was on the skits. We'll say I was all the frits, and it actually was like popping. And I was like, sorry guys, like we'll just have to stop for a second. Let me just make sure the mic was fine. I have no idea what was going on with it, and I knew it wasn't Vossi's mic. It was the guy who was interviewing him, and Vossi, I think, felt left out, and he was like, "Oh, do you want me to test my mic?" And I was like, "No, you're all good. Like, I know yours is fine." I'm like, just in case, we'll get you to like have a look at yours.
I love it,
which is quite funny.
Do you want to check
like, it's
mine?
funny as well. Yeah, he's like, "Please, do you want to check mine?" No, he's quite a nice bloke, Vossi. I'd never met him before, so. But he did mention, well, like, oh, do you go by Vossi or Michael? And he's like, oh, call me Vossi because I feel like my dad's talking to me if you say Michael. And anyway, when I
and you're like,
the
okay,
mic
Mr.
issue,
Voss.
no. When we picked up the mic issue, I was like, sorry, I'll just check the mics, and that's when Vossi was like, oh, is mine okay? Like, do you want to test mine? And I was like, no, yours is all good, thanks, Michael. I'm like, oh, sorry, Vossi. Oh, it was quite funny. It probably deflated him. But anyway. Jack, Kurt should be back. Hopefully, yes. Fingers crossed. Skits, you've said, did you edge Vossi? Jesus.
Well, apparently you did by calling him Michael.
He was on the edge.
And not checking his microphone.
yeah, exactly. Oh, I know he felt left out. And I was thinking maybe he tuned in to Blue Bagger's Edge and heard my scathing review of the coaching staff's use of strategy, not bringing back in Jordan Boyd, despite listing him as an emergency and persisting with Chera off halfback. I had that all in my head, and I was like, if he had a little bit more time, I'd be like, Vossi. But as he was walking out, the guy who was interviewing him, I won't say who it is, but it was sponsor related, of course, so not really applicable. But anyway, he's like, you're playing Collingwood this week, so big game. And he's like, yeah, we normally do well on milestones. And I said, oh, well, Vossi, the 125th anniversary celebrations for the Pies, we scuttled those celebrations. He's like, yep, hopefully can do it again. And he's like, oh, we'll see how we go. I'm like, see how we go. You fucking better deliver a bloody win, mate. You better not be playing Chera off half back. Let me tell you. But there are times as well where, because we sit, it's at Marvel. So our reserve seat is right near like the race where Vossi and the coaches run down at the quarter breaks. And it was the game against North Melbourne a couple of weeks ago where I think it was like halftime or whatever. And like North Melbourne were actually getting on top of us. And I yelled, like Ash, of course, my wife, she yelled out, she's like, come on, like rev him up, Vossi. And I was like, get into the midfielders, Vossi. Make sure they tighten their defense. And I was thinking as well today, I'm like, I wonder if he like recognized my voice as that guy that was yelling at him across the, being an absolute nuff. I was giving him direction. I wasn't being scathing, but anyway, quite funny. Enough of a tangent on that, but it was good. It was good. Very fun today to meet him and most of the assistants that I hadn't worked with before when I was at the club back in 2018. So very good. And the club's changed as well, 100%. Like it's renovated. It's really good. Walk in, Premiership Cups. It was a very nice historical journey. But in terms of other trade-ins, I think, as we said, that's about it. So, Liam, shall we use this opportunity to move into the next segment?
Yes.
What would that segment be, Liam?
I don't know, Damon. What is that segment?
Well, I'm waiting for you, because I'm about to cue it up. But it is... You know what? What I should have said? Wait, where is it? You know what I should have done? beating you to
Oh,
it. You just lost
I
a
can't-
lung. You know what I said? I had this on standby next to my camera. I whacked it on my head, and I looked Vossi in the eye, and I said, you know what, Vossi? I'm calling the shots this week because I'm the captain now.
Look at me.
I'm the captain now.
And I did that to him as well. I doot, doot, doot. And he was like, oh, now I take you seriously.
that now makes sense.
Yeah, that now makes sense. And now makes sense as to why you're wearing this comically ridiculous captain's hat.
What are you talking about? It's not comically ridiculous. It is genuine.
Accurate.
Genuine.
Yes. It's genuine. It's very genuine. So I'm the captain now, Liam. It is, of course, the segment. Where? Did you want me to go through, or do you want to?
Oh, sorry. Yes, in the captain. I've forgotten that we're recording.
Oh, yeah, we are. Oh, we are. Shit.
What VC? I'm still caught up in you won the goalkeeping competition. The captain now.
The fact that I edge Vossi.
Yeah, that's it. And we chat about what VC and C options you've got for the upcoming round of SuperCoach. As always, we scratched through the data and found the top options
Have we?
for you to consider. Have we? I don't know.
I don't know. Well, of course,
Let's
Skids
kick
Fits as
off.
well before we roll through. We'll kick off. Skids Fits says Vossi put it in H. Yeah, he needs to put it in H.
Don't we all?
Yeah. He needs to put it in D. Put it in drive, mate, because we're currently going reverse. Not good. Not good at all. First up, Liam, we have, of course, and I'll bring these players up on screen for those of you tuning in to YouTube.
Le Bont.
Le Bont.
Le Bont. Le Bont cake.
All right, so Le Bont, we have, of course, Le Bont. Faces off against the Ds. Past 3 against them, he scored 126, 107, and a 105. Recent scores, not too crash hot in his past 4 games at least. He's only had one score of 120 plus, which is 122 against the Cats in round 19. Prior to that, 106, 108, and 109, which is on the weekend. But we can't forget, Liam. I mean, those 2 big scores that he had back in round 14 and 16, when he had, he was virtually a cripple in a wheelchair, and the other one was, he had, some super flu, and, smashed it. So,
look, from what I'm hearing is you're not saying if you see him just tripping down the stairs, but...
I'm not saying that. You said that. I wasn't going to say... I was leading you down the garden path, but now that you've said it, potentially...
Just go sneeze on him or something. No. But, yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's a nice Friday VC, but I'm not sold on it. I think there's a better Friday night VC coming up. And we'll talk about him in a sec. I'm not a fan necessarily. He's an option, but he's not one I'd be taking.
Yep. No, exactly right. I think he's got the high floor, as we know. So he's probably someone like more of a captain, I think, as opposed to a VC. Just in recent form and stuff. But yeah, as you say, there are some nicer options coming up. Next up, who do we have?
We have Maxwell Gorn or Maxi or Maximilian. We don't know.
We'll find out, won't we?
Yes. Up against Timmy English. Last time they played, 162, if you don't mind. A 140 the time before that, and a 92 back in round 1 of 92 of 19. Oh my God, of 2022. We got there eventually. I don't hate it. Don't know if I love it. He hasn't really gone off in a few, since round 11, really. Round 13, he scored that 132. Obviously, he's been injured, returned from injury on the weekend for a 97. Could just be dusting out, blowing out the cobwebs. Could be in for a big score this week. But, yeah, probably one that I would be looking elsewhere for. Just hope that he scores well, but not worry about the VC on him.
Yep. Exactly right. I'm not so much a fan. I think I'll probably look elsewhere. And speaking of elsewhere, this is probably one guy I'd look at, and it is Flanders. Stupid sexy one.
Yes.
Good old Ned.
Stupid
Up against
sexy.
West Coast. So again, we've spoken enough about this bloke in terms of his ton run. He just continues keeping on. He scored a 141 against the Lions of all teams as well, to his credit, on the weekend, and prior to that a 128. And as we said, like his ton run is just a sight to behold. I don't think there's like, I was having a look on Twitter and someone mentioned this, or asking the question: has there been a player in Supercoach history that has gone through the entire season with a ton every single game of the year? I don't think there is. I think someone mentioned that Bond almost did it last year. I think he scored about an 80 in one of the games to fall short. But outside of that, if anyone knows in the chat, let us know. But he could be the founding father of this uncharted territory. And we'll just call it the stupid sexy streak.
Yeah.
The SSS.
I like he's the VC I'd be choosing,
Yep.
if I'm honest.
I do like him.
Coming up against West Coast.
Yeah.
I just think you've got it's just worth it.
He only scored a 105 against them back in round 7, but of course I don't think he was playing the halfback role that he's now got.
No, I don't think
in his
he was
rotation.
back then. Whereas now he is, and I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to have a look.
Yep.
West Coast giveaway like the 6th or 7th most points to that sort of defensive attacking defender. So not super huge scores. But who are they? All right, so in recent weeks, no one massively has gone off in that role, but I still like it. I think it's a good pick.
Yep.
And he's in
Jack
good
has
form.
said, yeah, very good form. Love the Flanders VC into Sheezel or even Daicos for a big one. In brackets, last time went 150 against the Blues. And also don't mind my flog Zorko against Saints last as a pod for a C. Geez, you're giving away all the secrets here, Jack. We haven't got to those big boys yet, but yeah, they're all, you're on the right track there. All very good. And Carl has said also, by the way, with reference to our captain's hats, Love Boat areas, Captain Stew being special. Not that I've ever seen Love Boat, but this is who he's referring to. And yeah, dead ringer for both of us, 100%. And just need the bow tie.
Yes.
That's what we need. The little captain stubs like you whack on the shoulders.
Those things. I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, those things. Yeah, I just call them stubs. I don't know what they are. No, we're taking the piss, Jack. You said sorry about giving the info away. No. It's a bit of a sneak preview than anything.
All right, next up.
Next up, we have LDU up against the
Yes.
Tigs. And let me just bring him up here on the screen for those people who want to treat them. I just typed in LDU.
So the Tigers are giving away the most points to inside mids. So 147 to Nick Daicos, 113 to Connor Rosie, 93 to Tom Green, which I mean you could see anyway. Hayden Young 125, Andrew Brayshaw 128, 148 to Walsh, Cripps 144, Chera 102. So could be in for a big score here.
Yep. He's not too bad. I mean, he scores against the Tigs previously, 110, 119, 86. But like you say...
we could just have a look at those. That's from 2022, though, I think.
Yeah, this is a different Richmond outfit that we're dealing with here that's minnows compared to the champion outfit they used to be that he was playing and scored those scores against that outfit. So, yeah, his recent scores in I guess, dating back to round 17, his past 4 weeks, 114, 133, 97, and a 92. So a bit of a mixed bag, but yeah, a very, very nice matchup based on what you've gone through there. So probably speaks for itself. Let me just share the tab here. So this is DFS Australia, of course, the breakdown. As you can see there, Richmond, they give away the second most, 17 points on average better than the player's average. So should go fairly well, which based off that, his average at the moment is 108, plus 17 is 125. So if he can score 125, that is a lock and load VC score.
Yep,
So
certainly.
don't
I think
mind
he's a
that
nice
at all.
VC. Yeah. If you want to
Very,
be
very good.
contrarian and not go for a Flanders. Next up in that same game, we've got our friend Harry Sheezel coming off a big
absolute
score on the
gun.
weekend, 160. Again, playing inside mid, Richmond giving away the most points. And he has had the 136 against them last year. This is his only score. Obviously playing defender there.
Yep.
But I don't know. I like it.
Yeah,
I think he'd be my C if I was going for Flanders.
Yes, exactly right. I feel like this is the time of year as well, like just to go a little bit different. I think people will still see the big names of like a Butters, a Bont, all these sort of guys and go for them. I'd be surprised if many went for Flanders in recent weeks. And I almost feel as though like for me anyway, having gone for Sheezel on the weekend who delivered a 160, I feel more like safe, I guess, in going for him again, as opposed to seeing the score and being like, oh, is he going to do it again? Should I jump on him or should I just fall back on safety and go for one of the bigger name type players that I've gone back to the well with in the past, like a Bont? So, yeah, Sheezel I think is really, really good. Like past 4 games, 141, 175, 138 and 160.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
No, do it. Do it.
Good matchup, as you said as well, obviously against the
perfect
Zitigs. Next up, we have the Xerri. Tristan Xerri in the same game, obviously. Let me bring him up on screen here. Faces Nan Curvis, and Richmond actually give up. Oh, yes, go ahead. Yep.
The second most points, as you were saying, 17 points above the average.
Yeah, wow. Very good. Actually, sorry, I just realised as well, I was reading off the small numbers on the screen before. I was reading out the plus 17 as LDUs. But sorry, it was 8. Plus 8, sorry, for LDU. But still, pretty good. But yeah, plus 17 for... which is surprising because... because Nank...
You think Nank would be...
quite restrictive.
And he's scoring quite well. So if he goes 17 above, he's going 130-ish.
Yeah, wow, okay. Previous opponents against Nank have scored... actually, no, that won't be applicable because he wasn't playing on the weekend with Darcy Cameron. But Jordan Sweet, 94. Kieran Briggs, 122. And Luke Jackson, 121. So,
but all of those 5, all those other 4, they've all gone 10, 16, 29.4 above their average. So something to keep in mind there. It's like they're all in the positive, well above their average.
Good old Xerri, last time he played them was last round of last year, or round 23, 57. So Goldstein was probably playing as well. Been in a hot run of form. He scored a ton every single game dating back to round 11. So good floor. Ceiling scores, probably as we saw on the weekend against undermanned Geelong ruck lineup, 151. So, yeah. Could be good. Don't mind Xerri.
I'm not sold on it. I think if you're going to go for someone, I'd be going Sheezel in that game.
Yeah, I think of those two, even LDU as well in the mix. Yeah, totally agree.
Next up, we have against your mob, Damon, Nick Daicos.
Yes, good old Nick. Good old Nick. Little Nicky. He scored in his previous 3, 150, 82 and a 100.
That being said, Carlton are giving away the second least points to opposition inside mids. So looking at recent weeks, Zach Butters scored just the 98. Sheezel, probably the exception, 138. LGU, 97. Bont, 108. What else is there? Tom Green, 96. Yeah,
I think if I was a betting man, which I am, I reckon he's $1 to get tagged.
By Jim Cotter. It's a risk. It's too big a risk, I think. I think he likes playing them, but I think we've seen enough now that he's so susceptible to the tag, and I think Chincotter's the perfect option for that.
Yep. I mean, last time he scored well, Carlton played ordinary.
But he also kicked a winning goal.
Oh, yeah. Winning goal. Yeah, it's very true.
I don't know how many points he got for it, but you just assume a lot.
Yeah, I think normally it's around about like 20, 25 points or something ridiculous in one go. Depends obviously on distribution of scores, but close game, generally you get a fair chunk of points. So I don't know. I don't mind him, but I just think with that tag, and we've seen if you can get under his skin, become a little bit physical with him, put him off his game, like your boy did, Durham.
Durham.
Incredible job. And he lost his shit.
But he almost lost his shit for a couple of weeks. As well. Like, it affected him the next game. I don't think he had a good game the next game either. So I am
89 against the Cats.
I probably wouldn't go for him, personally.
Jack said Chincotta straight to him, I reckon. Supercoach Pro. Nick's going to get tagged for sure. And he said Daicos is a poor man's Sheezel. Yeah, very true.
That's it.
Supercoach Pro, you got to back your gut, Jack. Cherry C for me, says Supercoach Pro. I got his 150 odd last week. Jesus, he's edging you.
I don't mind it as a VC. Oh no, C. No, I don't like Cherry as the C. Cherry is the VC, but risk.
You're gonna blow your load going for that, mate. It's gonna be premature for you there, Supercoach Pro, aka Brad. Jack, Supercoach Pro, I'm sold. Oh, VC Flanders, there you go. Didn't realise he was playing in a double Friday night game. Is it a double Friday night game?
Yeah, it's a West Coast oh my God. West Coast Gold Coast play at like 8:30 or something, 8:10 over in Perth. And then the other game, I think, starts as normal.
Oh, Jesus, okay. Interesting. Well, next up, we have Cripper up against Zlepaz. So, good old
Crips. It's an early game, 7:15 on Friday night at Marvel Stadium.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then 8:30 is the other one. I don't quite get why, though.
Yeah, nor do I. It's a bit strange.
They've still got the two games on it, just ordinary fixturing. The two games on at 7:30 on a Saturday night. And both, it's Carlton Collingwood and Port Adelaide Sydney. Like, it's not even as though they wouldn't have seen that as like both decent games.
Yeah, like it's a rolling fixture. Like they still haven't announced like the last round yet. Like they got so much time up their sleeve and they still fuck it up. Like the AI software that they're using, obviously for this fixturing arrangement, isn't like beta mode. Like it's early access type stuff.
I thought it was just bloody darts at a board.
Yeah, or that. Yeah, or the what was the old was it the fish that was predicting winners? Was it the fish or octopus? The octopus predicting winners in the World Cup. Maybe they're using the octopus again. But Cripper up against the Pies. He averages, or at least he scored in his past three against the Pies, 68, 187, and had some okay scores, 86 only against Port Adelaide, but prior to that, 144 against Richmond, 144 against the Giants, 115 against the Dogs, and 114 against North.
But
I wouldn't feel confident. But Liam, what have you found?
The Pies give away the third most points to inside mids. 724 plus 724. So recent weeks, that is the scores of actually none of them are massive, so it's interesting when you look at it.
Yeah.
It's way back to Zach Merritt, 145, really, and Caldwell, 134 when they played. Because all the rest are like, they're not bad scores, but just not massive.
Yeah.
It's really been dragged up.
Again there, Liam, but that's okay. That new mic, we're going to have to invest in a new mic for you. That's all right. But yeah, Cripper probably wouldn't go for him, I don't think. Oh, there you go. We're back. We got you back.
No. I'm not against it, but I think there's better options.
Yeah, 100%. Next
Next
up, we
up.
have
Butters.
Zach Butters. That's him. Past 3 he's had against the Swans 89, 68, and 88. So not too crash hot there. James Jordan, probably gets the tag again, you'd think. Scores haven't been too good the past couple of games, 89 and 98 against Richmond and Carlton. Prior to that, had an okay run, 123, 114, 159 and a 120. So bit of a mixed bag. But Sydney, I know they're out of form, but James Jordan, he's shown his wares as a nice little tagger.
And they give away
Butters,
the least points.
oh, there you go. Yep.
Minus 14.
That's enough for me. Yep.
And looking back at past games, I mean, you've got Trelaw as a 146. That's an out-of-the-box game. LDU 133, again, out of the box. But all the rest are sort of sub. There's nothing above 120.
Yeah. No. Totally right.
No,
I would be avoiding him like the plague. In the same game, other team though, we have Brody Grundy up against Laporte. So, Brody Grundy, that is if he isn't rested, of course. Hopefully not for owners. Past 3 against Port, 83, 85, and 138. Against the Swans, are they giving away anything? No. The second
Port.
least. Oh, sorry. Yes, Port. Reading the wrong one.
So the only thing positive. I just had a look at that. It's taking into account Nank's 58, which was in sub affected. So he only scored 58. So if we take that score out, it goes up to about they're plus 15%. Or plus 15, I'd say, roughly looking at the averages. So they had Ned Moyle scored 110 against them. Tim English scored 137 and Romo scored 111. So I actually think if you've got Grundy, it's not a bad pick if he plays.
Yeah, that's true.
Because instantly it kind of gets up towards the Richmond West Coast. Probably sits there. I mean, look at their last 10. If we move to last 10 instead of last 5, Port Adelaide end up as the 4th most scored against.
Yeah.
Oh, 5th most. Sorry.
So against Jordan Sweet, he's giving away a fair few points by the looks of it in recent games. Supercoach Pro says, I saw the article on AFL website. I wonder which game they may rest him before finals, which is interesting because, I mean, there's a pre-finals bye anyway. So I don't know why they want to give him additional rest. So would they give him a rest in round 24? I reckon it'd be contingent upon if they've already secured a top 2
surely.
spot for a home final. Because surely they can't afford to do that now when they're in this downward patch in form.
Yeah. I mean, they've got a game and a half on 2nd and 3rd in terms of the ladder.
Yeah.
But surely you want to get at least one more game in there.
Yeah. I don't know. Interesting. Very interesting. Next up, who we got? We've got
Whitfield against
Good old
Hawthorn.
Whitefield. So in his previous encounters against the Hawks, he scored 108, 86 and a 78. Bit of a mixed bag, but as we mentioned earlier in the trade segment, previous form or recent form is good form. 113 against the Tigers, 137 against the Gold Coast, and 133 against the D's. So he's pretty good, provided they don't tag. But
there's a slight negative towards both wing defenders and designated kick-in takers for the Hawks. So minus 1.76 and minus 1.28. Not really that much in terms of average. I wouldn't worry too much there, especially with his recent average.
Yep. So would you go for it?
No. Yes and no.
No.
I think no, because I would be putting my VC on Flanders and my C on Sheezel. If I was waiting and putting the VC on Sheezel, then yes, I would go him.
Yep.
Him or Grundy, I think. Or Zorko, who we'll talk about later.
Yep. Well, let's move on because I just had a look at the run time. We've been going to about an hour and a half. So next up we have Merritt up against Frio. So Zachariah Merritt put it in H. He's passed 3 against Frio. He scored 126.64 and a 111. This is, of course, Liam at the MCG, as we all know. Could have guessed because the run of games for the Dons looking pretty
That's
good.
It. Looking pretty good.
Home games.
At the MCG. Looking at West Coast, West Coast Frio, minus 44 in the last. Let's go back to past 5 games. Sorry, bear with me. Where's Frio sit? Frio is giving away minus 1.12 points to inside mids. Not too concerned there. There's some big scores in there. Tim Cully 139. And some low scores. It's kind of a bit of a each way bet. So I'm not too worried there. If you want to go for him, I probably wouldn't be personally. I think there's better options this round.
Yep. No, I totally agree there. Which, next up we have Sarong up against, of course, the Dons. So Sarong, he is averaging against Les Dons, past 3. It shows up 104.77 and a 73, so not too crash hot. Does he get a bit of attention from the Dons?
Potentially, I don't know where they sit now, what they're going to do. But looking at recent scores against the Dons in terms of midfielders, 136 to Jack Steele. He did kick 3 goals though, so I don't think that saves him. And then really the next best score was a Scott Pendlebury back in round 17, and then Bose round 16 for 127. But otherwise, they're all sort of mid-hundreds, so I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, I think he's a bit of a pass anyway. I reckon. Yeah. Only averaging 84.7. I mean, it's only 3 games that he's played against the Dons, but it's interesting. But no, he just pales in comparison to the likes of Sheezel and stuff that we've already spoken about. But to round things out, we have a bit of an interesting one here, Liam. Now, we speak about the caution that we proceed with when we talk about captaining a player in the last game of the round. We don't know why exactly. It's almost like a curse of some sort. Hasn't been proven, of course. But Zorko up against the Saints. Nice matchup. Very, very nice matchup. Played them earlier this season and scored quite well, which was to the tune of 141 back in round 14. Prior to that, 101, obviously different role in 2023 and 2022, 53. So the 141 is probably a good indication, especially, Liam, if we go back to the DVP on DFS Australia. St Kilda is still giving away points to opposition general defenders. The second most now, they've been relegated. So still not too bad. Recent scores against them.
And looking at a player that probably plays a very similar role to Zorko, Jaden Hunt, scored a 138 against them. I wouldn't looking at Dersmer and Heppel, I don't think they're similar. Jaden Hunt, 138. Scholl, maybe 118. Dowling, I don't think plays that role really, but he scored 101 against them. McInerney, again, from the Swans. I don't really think that's quite a similar role. But there's quite a lot of scores that are well above their average. So I would be going for them.
Yep.
I think he's a
so
good
would you be
last option. Yes, I am tempted. But I'm not tempted because I'm going Flanders into Sheezel.
Yeah, exactly.
If I went Sheezel, if I cool off a little bit on Flanders and I go VC Sheezel, then I'd probably go C on Zorko.
Yep. No, I do like it. You could always, I guess, if you wanted to go contrarian, go different to your head-to-head opponent, and then have Zorko as sort of the ace up your sleeve, like break glass in case of emergency type stuff.
Yeah.
If you only go for one of either Shees or Flanders and they don't score well. Hopefully all these other guys that we've spoken about haven't scored a big score out of the box compared to what we're thinking they will score, or if they, Daicos doesn't get tagged and scores well, you can always go for Zorko. There's a bit of difference.
Yeah, agreed.
So let's quickly go into our head-to-head, and I've just realised as well we skipped over our normal head-to-head. Apologies for that, Liam, because I guess swept the glory away from you, because we should do that first off. Fine. I think our head-to-head. No, it is not fine, Liam, because again you swept all before you. Another win by you. You now sit with 5 wins in our head-to-head to my 15, and 4 points against differential. You've whittled it down to below 2,000, so it is 1,958. So I'm telling you, you are back, baby. You are back.
If these trends continue, 4 wins in a row. I think 4 on the trot. I'm taking that.
Oh, I know. I'm just thankful that we've only got 4 rounds of the season to go. You can finish at 9 wins to my 15, and it'll be so respectable. And
you'd look back on it and you'd be like, oh, that was not bad. Then you'd look back at the actual how it went and you'd be like, what the fuck, Liam? You did so shit.
Yeah. And only 4 rounds ago, it was 15-1. Yeah. And it was like you had your first win when I was over in the US when I had my back turned and I wasn't in the country. Now you're just rubbing my face in it. So thank you, Liam. Anyway, but on to the next head-to-head, and I think it's better for you because another win to you with Xerri outscoring my option of Le Bont. And for extra just added juice, you've managed to pull the differential in your favour too. So you're +3 now. So not only are you leading overall 11 wins to 8, your favour, differential +3. Jeez, I might as well just clock off. I'm done.
It's pretty poor though. I've only got the 3 wins. So on average, I'm only getting 1 point better than you. So it's not that great.
Yeah. But still, a win's a win. So it's
a win's a win.
Doesn't matter. You'll take it. And Brad, SuperCoach Pro, said Liam is like the Hawks. It's okay. You're a star.
That's it.
And we have joining us a bit of royalty as well. One of the weekly winners in Cooper Gretsch.
Oh yes.
Good old Scoops, the sole admin of AFL Trade Rumors, and I always forget the third one. Trade Rumors and something. Reviews? Not review. News, yeah. Trade Rumors and News. I think we'll roll with it. I don't know. Let us know, Scoops. But he says, hi, gents. Quickly. And he says, happy to come on again anytime you want. Just a message away. Results, he says. See, geez, he's come through with the goods.
Trade information, AFL information, trade rumors, and results.
That's you got to make it punchier, Scoops. Because then that way we can remember. Or make an acronym out of it. What would the acronym be? It would be...
AITR.
I reckon just change it to put it in H.
Attra. Yeah, put it in H.
Put it in H. There we go. He's put it there. AFL information, trade rumors, and results. It's a bit of a mouthful, Scoops. And SuperCoach Pro says coming hard for final. I reckon he's being edged by the Saints. I reckon, Brad. But let us roll through because we have a few questions rolling through, which is a bit of a segue. Nice time, Liam, for us to roll into our last segment.
we have to do we haven't picked our captains.
Oh, sorry. Jeez, we're skipping over things here. We're about to clock off. I'm about to punch out my bloody little
I'm going to be quick.
card.
Sheezel's my C.
Okay, I'm going to be quick. Flanders will be my...
Done.
Done and done. Let's do that. We've had a lot of thought. Move on. Let's move on to the next segment, and it is, Liam. I gots to know.
Hey, I gots to know.
Very good. Very good. That was a different take, that one. It's just like we should do like a speed run of one of our upcoming episodes, like do because it seems like we were speed running and then we've kind of like just slowed right up. Didn't help with my tangent talking about Michael Voss, seeing him at Carlton today and edging him, and then everyone else edging me by mentioning Michael Voss, and anyway.
Is it Michael or Vossi? Just out of curiosity. According
to him, it's Vossi, but according to me, and he was right, because you know what I'm going to do from now on. And by the way, as well, if you're coming to us late, check out my other. I'm just going to plug the shit out of it again. A gratuitous plug. Blue Baggers Edge, check it out on YouTube. Give us a sub because I give obviously previews, reviews, get guests on. We had Janeth, of course, one of the titans of the Supercoach community on the other week. Get him on again, hopefully this week as well for a bit of a preview heading into the Pies game. But I reckon he's given me an idea, Vossi. So when I'm disappointed with the way that he's coached the team, I'm going to refer to him as Michael. And I hope he stumbles upon my video and he knows. I'll give him just a bit of a nod every time I say Michael and look sternly down the barrel of the camera. And he'll know. He'll know what the reference is. And he was giving good insight. He was talking about, like, as a leader, he doesn't shy away from giving, I guess he said the good part of being a leader is the fact that you need to make the tough calls. And I'm thinking, well, I'm quite the leader because if I was making a tough call, Fossey, you wouldn't be coach the way that you were looking at the early part of 2023. You saved your ass. You need to save your ass again, mate. You and the rest of the coaching staff that we're chatting to. But anyway, quite funny. Liam, with that was my little segue to I got to know because I was thinking that the whole time when Vossi was in the hot seat. It was hot, let me tell you. And look at this, our numbers have gone up, Liam. We've got 15 people watching at the moment because they heard they're like my Vossi senses are tingling. Damon's losing his shit about Vossi again. It's one of the Adam hasn't joined us. So first up we have, and Scoops is spamming the chat. What are you doing, Scoops? First up we have a question. 12 Hoops. Hey boys, got a question. Send it through. I have Ridley and Kruger for my formation, but I only have 920k. Who would you boys get in? Need 2 primo ranked players. Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
Well, I think Tom Stewart I quite like. We spoke of him earlier.
Could you go, like, I'm just trying to think, because you're going to need to get 2 people, theoretically 450k, roughly, just over.
Yep.
For 920k if you average it out. If you go, what's his name? Kerno, if you don't already have him, here's what?
Yes.
431. Stewart is how much? 550. Ooh.
Bit of a tight one.
Yeah, that's 983. Okay. We had to find the absolute bargains here. What about
Holmesy? 505.7k.
That would work.
That's a saving of around about 45k.
I think. How much was that, sorry?
So it's about a 45k difference, roughly. So he's 505.
That's still too expensive.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't really like him, but Nick Newman, even though he's got a okay fixture, a good fixture.
What's he?
He's 479, so he should fit.
That would work. I don't know if I like it though.
No.
Who else is there? Unless let me look at the forwards.
Well, I think in terms of cheap forwards, I reckon Charlie's probably.
I can't imagine there's much cheaper than that.
No.
Dylan Moore, 504k.
Yeah, you could, and just if you go Dylan Moore and Newman.
No, that's too much.
It's too much. Oh, jeez. So I reckon the way that it's looking then is you kind of with that cash.
Oh, hang on. How much was Newman? Oh no, you probably could just do
478.
that.
479.
You could just do that. I don't know. My maths isn't working today.
Otherwise, there's
plus.
I don't necessarily like him, Blakey.
504. Nah, that's too expensive.
Yeah.
What about how's Rioli going?
Rioli 504.4.
Yeah.
He's been scoring okay, but
yeah, there's still some flaws in there. Real low flaws. What about
looks as though?
Yeah, I'm not loving any of the.
I don't know. Like, I think the stumbling block with that trade scenario, Hoops, is the fact that you're getting rid of Kruger, which is like he's virtually bottom price compared toRidley.
Yeah.
So that's.
I don't know if you're going to get 2 primo ranked players. Yeah.
No, you'll need to get someone at a higher price point than Kruger. Go for Ridley plus whoever else. I assume Kruger's not on your field anyway, so is there someone else like a Dowling potentially, even though he's good cover, but if he allows you to get...
Toby Green could be one, 475k. His 5-round average is 95, 3-round is 106. He's averaging, 81, but recent scores, 107, he had the 57. Oh, nah, I still don't like him either.
Hoops has said, I'm looking at Walsh and Roberts I wouldn't go for Walshy, personally. He's a tag risks all season and has a crook back, I'm convinced. And Roberts is a good shout. Like we spoke about him earlier. He's
Roberts not a bad option.
So could you go like
recent games, he has scored 114, 95, and 161 in his last 3 games. A 36 and a 5 before that. I'm assuming that at least the 5 would have been sub-affected.
yeah.
The 36, I assume, probably was too. I don't mind that. He's got Port, Collingwood, Essendon, and Adelaide to come. Roberts, and his price 380k. You could do that. He's a defender midfielder, and then you could look to get
Yeah.
536k. Who could you get for 536k for a mid?
So he said 536.
Oh.
So 536, just scrolling down the list, there is Noah Anderson. There's Rory Laird, Tom Green. Nope.
Elliot Yo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Oh, this bloke here, Matt Rao. I heard he's good. He's on the grass, isn't he? There's Max Holmes.
What about the best player in the league according to Champion Data, Willem Drew?
Willem who? There's Max Holmes. There's another one as well, but he's kind of dropped a couple of deuces, 71 and 80. Not too good, but prior to that is okay scores, 100 plus, but similar to Stewart, I guess.
What about George? How's he going? George Hewitt. So I'm assuming in round 16 he was sub because he scored 12.
Yes.
But other than that, he's gone 118, 96, 109, 108 in his last 5, if you exclude that sub score of 12.
Yeah, I don't mind that actually.
He's only 405.
He's in 1% of teams as well.
Yeah, it could be a nice little pod as well. I think of those though. Surely Laird's like your most stable, but I haven't looked at his scoring this year. If I'm honest.
SuperCoach Pro says likewise, Laird for sure. I think of those guys, like I don't mind Holmesy. Noah Anderson still irks me because he attracts the tag and hasn't been scoring too well. Massive deviation in his scoring. Rory Laird has,
he's got a decent floor. Like he's only scored 65 is his lowest and 74, but they were way back. All the rest have been sort of 80s and 90s.
Oh, Hoops says he's got Laird already, so can't go for him.
Not making it easy for me.
Yeah, no.
I reckon I think...
he can't go for Rankin either. He can't wait for him because he's 569. If he was done to do some DPP swings, but...
it's Noah Anderson, potentially.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of any of those, really.
No. George Hewitt's probably the one that I would pick personally.
Yeah. Or just go for he said Libba's a pod too, says Supercoach Pro. What is Libba priced at?
Libba's in that price range.
Oh yeah, 526. He's dropped 20.9k on the weekend. Yeah, okay.
But his scoring has not been the best off
Yeah,
memory.
the best. Yeah.
Well, the 76 is
79,
his
83.
lowest in a while. Lowest for
Yeah.
the season. It's look, I'd be worried with him about his concussion history as well.
There's
You probably
also a
don't want someone.
McKercher.
Yeah.
If McKercher comes back and plays the remainder of the season, and Fish doesn't play, we know what he's like as a bloody absolute seagull off halfback taking kick-ins.
Hoops has also said could get Dillmore, but and put Flanders in the midfield. I don't mind that.
Oh, yeah. I'd probably do that of all those options then, yeah.
But then if we're
I'd do
doing
that, yeah.
can we get a better forward for that at 530k?
A better forward?
Yeah, is there a better forward at that price range? Ben Keys, get him in. No.
No. Yeah, I do like Dillwall.
Yeah, I think
he's
that's
good value. He's good value. Jack says Ed Richards taking Libba points, and he says Libba needs to lay off the blackjack tables before I pick him again. loves a bit of card work. Does Libba apparently, but let's scroll through some of the other questions. Where were we? Jack says, how do we think English the slow giraffe goes against Gorney? Not looking at all for a VC, but his scores are usually good/decent, then shit, and continued. Well, exactly it. As I spoke about with my team talk video, every second week he actually has a half decent score, of which this week falls on a second week. So he's gone. This is dating back to round 12, 131, 88, 136, 70, 137, 85, 139, 83. Surely it's a score of 130.
He's got a decent average against them as well. Scored 119 to start the season against the Ds, a 134 last season and a 123 the season before. Averages 98.6 against them as an opponent. So I reckon he could be in for a decent enough score.
Yep. Hopefully, because he's bloody... like, it's the most abusive, like, relationship owning English, because it's like, he's back. Oh, wait, no, he's not. He's back. No, he's not. It's like, just gaslighting us. What are you doing, English? Stop gaslighting us. Where's Scoops has said, nice hat. He's referencing our captaincy hat. Nice hat, Liam. So you had to say very nice hat for both of us. That's kind of you, Scoops, because if you said only nice hat to me, Liam would be like, what about my hat?
I would have flipped his desk and left.
Yeah, exactly right. We saw that Grundy might be rested. Saints coming hard for finals. Saints final started now. Very good point, Scoops. Pretty much. Bloody Grundy might be rested before finals. Not happy, says Scoops, considering my one trade was hoping to use to upgrade Sexton to Caldwell or Zorko if he drops and Sexton plays and goes up. What do you mean? You can still trade Sexton then, if that's the case. Or are you saying that you traded Sexton and he's played and gone up? I don't know. And he says, I thought this was taped. That's why I didn't comment earlier. Well, it's all good. All good, mate. No, we are live. So just to throw you off guard. Scrolling through. We'll wrap this up very shortly. What did Supercoach Pro say? Damn, Walsh. Then I missed it to check the app. I have no idea what we're talking about there. It sounds like you're on the spliffs there. On the the good old wacky tobacco. Good work, Brad. Jack says started Holmes this year at M6 and being the best pick. He's been good. Was 580 at some point now, but he's cheaper now. Had a slow couple of weeks. He has indeed. Short taking his points again. Jack Richards is okay. So Hoop says, but he's more better than Walsh for the rest of the season. I would say yes, or thereabouts. I reckon. I'm just worried about Walsh getting tagged. at every opportunity. And he's
Yeah,
not
I don't
performing
think Moore
at
has
peak
that.
fitness.
I think we've seen Moore's increased his floor. Walsh, as you said, there's two concerns. There's an injury concern and there's a tag concern.
Yeah. And
'Cause,
he's
like,
not,
look at
he's
it,
not
you're not-
kicking the ball well.
Yeah, and I don't think you're not, which I think goes to his back issue if he has one.
Yeah.
But like looking at it, you've got Collingwood. They're not going to tag, so he's got a free week this week. Hawthorn, I don't think they've been tagging, but
No,
yeah,
they've
West
been tagging,
Coast haven't been tagging St Kilda potentially.
Yeah.
Maybe we are jumping at shadows here. Maybe he's not going to get a tag for the rest of the season.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully for my sake, is a bagger. Supercoach Pro, 4 weeks left. I take advantage. I take an absolute pod. Sorry, he said.
I agree with that.
Well, that's it. Yeah,
Absolutely
don't
send
mind
it.
Yep.
Find the biggest pod you can. 0.1% ownership. I don't care if they're scoring 3. Get them in.
Yeah, get him in. Slim, good man, says, thanks for the stream, boys. No stress at all. I'm off for a nap. Maybe you can lend the Wheel of Depression to the AFL for next year's fixture. The Wheel of Fortune. It'll be very fortunate because we can't do any worse than what the AFL are dishing up.
No. We can't do that. We don't want the blame.
Yeah, exactly right.
I don't want. It really will be a Wheel of Depression.
Bloody Laura Kane and friggin' whatever his name is. Dylan. Jack says, thanks for the comments, lads. Love this live. I was pissing myself when you were telling a story about Slowly Erected. Speaking of which, I should try and get it up on, I've done it again, try and get it up. I should try and bring it up here on YouTube if it lets me to do it. But let me see. You can read out. You can see the comments, Liam?
I can.
Yeah. Are there any others that are relevant?
Not really.
No? Nothing?
I think that's it.
I think I found it.
Oh, wait, hang on. No, there is one. No, I think that's it.
That's it? Okay.
I don't know. I'm losing my mind.
So this, I don't know if you can hear this, by the way. I can never tell if it comes through when I'm streaming stuff through StreamYard. So let me just switch here and you'll see it. So this is the, I don't know why they've titled the erection of Jim Carrey. It is awfully like in your face. But this is from classic movie. It is Me, Myself and Irene. Do yourself a favor. One of the funniest movies, one of my favorites of Jim Carrey's repertoire. This is the scene. I look at your pretty face. So I don't think the music's coming through.
It's coming through for me.
Oh, is it? Well, there you go. Just like, what the hell? Just keeps growing. It's like alter ego is Hank, and it's like because he's been suppressing his anger for so many years, he like all of a sudden takes on this persona of Hank, and he like becomes an absolute arsehole and like really like vulgar type character. It's quite funny. Very, 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 very good. So check it out. Jack is going OMG, ha 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 ha. Check it out, like with the music in the background as well. Just adds to it. Very good. I'm glad that that gave you a bit of a chortle. But you have said as well, off to work, mate. Keen to hear you and Brad on Sunday. We'll see how we go. Hopefully we can. Liam as well, if you're free and keen. Because this is Brad like asked weeks ago, and if you're still here, Brad, apologies, but I actually did forget. I didn't know which Sunday it was. I thought maybe it was last Sunday, but yeah, we'll see how we go, and we'll jump on for a little bit if we've got a bit of time. Probably won't be for the whole thing, but yeah, we'll be able to do that. But I was going to show as well before we log off. We'll have to find it. I don't know where it is. It's the goal kicking challenge. Let us know in the comment section as well down below if you can whack a link down there for the viewers of YouTube to have a look. There you go. You're still here, Brad. Supercoach Pro says I'm still
He's
here.
on the journey with us.
He is. He's definitely on the journey.
It's been a real journey today.
And as he said, Ken has all G either way. Did you see that? By the way, Brad, the erection from Jim Carrey and me, myself, and Irene. That's the sort of stuff that we hope to generate in the nether regions of our viewers and listeners. Jack says, drop the link, Brad, and we'll give it a watch of your goal kicking challenge. What does he say? Shorty SuperCoach. I don't know how to paste it right now. Okay. I don't know. But Liam, I think that just about rounds us out for a mammoth episode. It was a nice little live, probably extended out as well from, of course, the good people tuning in live and sending in their comments and questions. It's been good throughout. And I reckon they've done a very good job as a live studio audience. Not that we're in a studio, but we'll call it a studio. Where would you rate them? Would you rate them sort of a Friends style, live audience? Or like a Seinfeld with, a bit of a woo and canned laughter and stuff?
Yeah. No, I think they were more real than both of those.
More real, exactly. Yep. Especially the Jack sending through the OMG, ha 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 ha, just like endless. That's genuine laughter. You can just tell that.
It is. Form. I can tell that he was really laughing.
Yeah, absolutely loving it. Well, it is getting on in the evening here as we record this, so let us head to bed. Of course, Liam, you've done well, of course, to drag yourself back to the mic and camera, of course, to jump on this episode. Yes, so really appreciate it. I hope you're feeling better. Yeah, after general soreness, and of course, we all know how you got over your general soreness and how you're getting over it in terms of what Snoop Dogg was lending you. As you can see here again, very nice of him to do so. But Liam, where can of course, before we sign off, where can our viewers and listeners find us across our socials?
Oh, I haven't got this up. Let me see if I can do it off the top of my head. On YouTube, search SuperCoach Edge, and don't forget to like and subscribe. You'll find us on Twitter at @SuperCoach_Edge, David at DavoJ88, myself at Liam Evans _95, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Search SuperCoach Edge, and you'll find us there.
Very good. Very, very good. Supercoach Pro says, cheer lads and friends in betweeners. As in friends, like football friends. Is that what you're talking about, Supercoach Brad? I've got you. But that rounds us out, Liam, for a mammoth episode. And, of course, round 20. All the very best to those in Supercoach League finals. May your trades hit the mark, if you have any, that is. And, as we say, Liam, your scores head to the
moon.
We'll catch us later. Yeah, that's where it goes. That's it. See you guys. All the best.
I don't know anymore.
Who knows? Let's just head to bed. You.